So as contractors, what are your struggles in costing grouting projects?
Okay. Personally, onto the contracting modeling, most of the time in other business unit in Keller, it is more collaborative, whereby we are pretty much engaged with the client, and we carry out all the analysis on week by week basis to get a joint decision whether we should increase or reduce the grouting intensity and what should we do. In Singapore, the challenge is that there is certain quality control measure that we need to fit to, and at the same time, it's moving towards sometime a lump sum modeling. So that actually creates a difficulty. For uniform rock, it is fine, but very quite often we see situation. It is not uncommon that we see certain situation whereby the geology provides surprise to us. So this is a constant, I believe, interaction between grouting contractor with client, with consultant, to be able to build the trust with all these process engineering. So hopefully we will be able to actually provide this flexibility during our works.
Okay, thank you, Tristan. I don't see any hands, so any questions? Beatrice, do you see anyone asking questions?
Not yet.
In the chat box?
Okay, just one came in. Hold on, I type. Yeah.
That's one. Tristan, can you read the question? It says, the case mentioned related to what the grouting work is.
Hold on a second, let me look at it. One question by Mr. Nick. With the MFC material available in Singapore with less than 2% bleed can be readily achieved, will you support a reduction in maximum bleed for MFC grout from 5% to 2% or 3%? We have not done this trial. Definitely, if the grout is reducing, it will be a good thing. But the impact, I suggest if this is to be done, actually a certain control trial can be carried out for us to look at the practical impact of how much it can brought in. From Sherry Darrow, compaction grouting, aside from grout termination criteria explained, what other test method are there to ensure cavity has been filled? So the faster ways, of course, like what I mentioned just now, is to carry out a probing point to see whether we detect any further soft zone. But the other common method is also actually carry out conventional SI method. But the challenge is, for the particular project we are dealing with, is that the depth is almost 80-90 meter at some times, and to carry out SI coring method to this depth with a fracture rock formation is pretty challenging. So it will take too long a time to actually carry out this verification. So it's a balance. The coring can be carried out actually to find out whether the cavity has been properly filled or not. But there is a balance to strike here. But if the compaction grouting is carried out for the purpose of densification of the sand, say for example it is carried out in order to densify the sand, we can also carry out CPT tests, pre and post CPT tests or SPT tests, just to find the degree of improvement in the sand, the compactness. From Ben, it seems adjustment are made with the grouting method as the data is being acquired. How fast can the data processing be done to adjust the grouting on site? Within few hours, next day? Typically, in the beginning is the most crucial time where we fine-tune this. So in the beginning, the adjust can be done typically stages by stages. So we are not able to do a real-time adjustment as to currently the moment I see that the grouting is not moving accordingly, and immediately we change the material that we inject. So we typically have to wait for the next stages or the next point to start doing this. But the idea is to collect sufficient data to show the trend, because the rock mass is highly variable. So when sufficient data come in and show the trend, eventually we will be able to find the right ways to do it. From Michael, what type of geological modeling software do you use to chart the extent, size of cavity? Okay, I have not. What we have, what the data we collect is actually the volume of the amount that we pump in. So I did not show you because the case study is mainly about reinforcement of borehole for borehole construction. But in other cases whereby we need to stabilize the whole cavity, what we can do is that we can actually plot stage by stage the volume of the grout that go in, and then we can identify where are the level that the grout went in with suspected cavity formation, and by having different number of points that are being folded up in a different cross section, we can roughly have a visualization of the thing. Of course, there are also more advanced beam related software that can bring in to do this as well, but unfortunately in Singapore I have not had chance to use it before, because it is not it is not something that we do every day. But in other countries, actually BIM software has been successfully used to bring in to show this visualization. From Anvil, the grouting application can be applied wherever the seawall rock concentrated below, and how to control the grout loss, is any. Typically it's the stiff grout. So if you want to control the extent of the grout, stiffer grout has to be put in. So the compaction grouting has to be come in. But if your purpose is to further reduce the fissure or the permeability, then after the first round of consolidation grouting, the second round of permeability grouting may work. So I'm asking because I'm not sure about the context of this question. From Danila, what are the overall effectiveness for the project in Singapore context? I'm not sure you're referring to the fissure grouting or the cavity grouting, but fissure grouting is pretty established in Singapore. Though time to time there are still challenging ground conditions, but I think Singapore, we are progressing quite well with the fissure grouting. Cavity grouting is something that's still new, so what we are trying to do is to complement this by bringing in the compaction grouting technique into Singapore. From the experience that we have, it has been quite successful. We have carried out probably over the last few years 5 or 6 projects, and typically we are able to address the problem. From Ben, from your experience, do you find any difficulty in terms of supervision by the QPS on site, meaning do they understand the right termination criteria due to very ground condition? It depends. I have met with QS. I have met with a supervision team. They are extremely technical savvy that can engage in this discussion. That when we show them all the data, we can sit down and we can have an open discussion. But of course, it will take a while for this to be uniformly, for this awareness to be uniformly achieved in Singapore. So there are some QPS team actually are very, very experienced. From ER Yong, is it possible to share with you your experience on recoverable compaction grouting in control or limiting building settlement? Yes, definitely, Dr. Yong. However, we have not done this in Singapore, but this is something that is commonly done in for example, in London, whereby there's a lot of historical building. Even before the tunneling work is being carried out, pre-grouting tube has been installed in a 3D manner underneath certain sensitive building. They are identified as risky, and real-time monitoring are actually carried out throughout the tunneling process. And in the case of any perceived settlement or any measured settlement, the compaction grouting are actually carried out to actually readjust the building back. So it can be a compaction grouting or it can be soil fracking, depending on the condition. So soil fracking is also another method that can be adopted for this purpose. So if you're interested, I can definitely share it with you. Yeah, that's all about the question. I thought I answered all the questions.
Thank you very much, Tristan. I think let's put our hands together and thank the two speakers. Hand over to Beatrice to do the quiz. Beatrice?
Yeah, okay, Ken, thank you. So thanks Leslie and thanks Tristan and Eleonora. So I will take over the quiz and then dear tax members, can you please help me thank today's speakers? And then give me a while, let me launch the quiz. Okay.
Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Beatrice, for
Thank you,
hosting
Leslie.
us.
Thank you, Leslie, and thank you, everyone, for your time.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Once again, bye.